Hello, and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. On this show, I help members of the public to get the very best price for their antiques and valuables. They get a choice. Sit down with one of our regular dealers. They're going to try and tempt you with a cash offer on the table today.
I suppose I ought to get some money out.
That wouldn't hurt me at all.
Might hurt me.
If I don't think that's enough money, I'm going to say, no, have a gamble, go to auction. Hopefully we will get you a little bit more money there.
At 250 and going to be sold.
Today the show comes to you from Winsford in Cheshire. There's a great crowd of people here. They've turned up early. They want to do business. They want to walk away with cash in their pocket or maybe gamble and go to auction. But either way, they want the real deal.
The den's filling up and the dealers are raring to go, so let's get cracking. It's over to Helen Garden's table for something that could be worth writing home about.
I brought along a postcard album and I'm hoping to get just above £80, fingers crossed.
Well, let's see how you get on, Maria.
This is a very interesting album you've brought in, and I want you to tell me all about it. What can you tell me?
All about it. Well, I inherited it from my grandmother from Russia, so from St. Petersburg. I'm not entirely sure about the dates, so...
Your grandma was Russian?
Yes, she was. She was living in St. Petersburg, and we grew up actually in St. Petersburg for the early parts of our lives,
yes.
me and my brother. But yeah, I would love to know more about the album if you know when did the postcards date to or anything really.
Now, your granny was Russian and she lived in St. Petersburg.
Yes, correct.
She must have lived through tumultuous times in the world in St. Petersburg. I mean, there was a lot of starvation during the war. There was a lot of very hard times, but there was also the revolution happening. And your granny would have been part of that. How interesting. Well, she's left you an album of postcards. I think they're from the very early part of the 20th century, even before the start of the First World War, maybe 1910, that kind of, looking at them, somewhere in around that period. But unfortunately, they haven't got any information on the back. It would have been nice if on the back of one of the postcards there was something written, somebody had actually sent it, and we'd have had the post date, and it would have been fascinating at that time coming from there. But I like it because, you know, I'm interested in that kind of history. I have no idea what this is worth, Maria. Have you got any idea?
No.
I have no idea. I would like to buy it. I do like it, and I find it very interesting. So I'm going to put money on the table. I don't know where we'll go, but hey-ho, there is £50 for your album. How's that for a start?
Again, I have no idea how much it's worth, but I was hoping for a little bit
more than that. Well, how about £60 for your album, Maria?
It is very generous of you, but I am hoping for a little bit more.
Well, here's David. He'll give you some advice.
So these were your grandmother's?
Yes, they are.
Why are you parting with these?
I know they should have sentimental value, but I do have certain things that are more important to me, and I believe it meant more to her.
They're interesting. 50 to 80 pounds is the estimation. I think 60 is not a bad offer.
Right.
Now, the next question I'm going to ask the wee Helen is, do you get any oligarchs in the shop up at Cromarty?
I can say that I've had the odd one or two. I think I've had one.
I think the wee Helen maybe is only telling us part of the story. Maybe she has more than one oligarch coming into the shop, and so maybe this could be going back. You never know.
Well, Maria, you've heard David's take on it.
Yes, yes.
So what do you think? What are you thinking about my 60 quid?
If you could go up a little bit more.
Well, I'll go up, but it will be a very little bit more.
Right.
Look, I'm going to go to £70, Maria. What do you think?
I think if you do like them that much, we might just have a deal over here.
We're going to have a deal. I think that's a good decision. Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing in such an interesting lot.
What happened to wanting over £80 then, Maria?
Helen loved the album so much, so I'm quite happy giving it to her at that price.
And it's a nice bit of cash in hand too. Now it's on to David Ford's first deal of the day. Will he be dazzled by what Pauline's brought in?
What I'm really hoping for is £440 or thereabouts. I know what the scrap value is, and just a little bit extra would be lovely.
Well, we always like to buy a bit of gold. Safe bet, isn't it?
Bet you'll impress Pauline with your offer then, David.
And you've bought me in your family jewellery, or your gold...
My gold jewellery,
Your
that's
gold jewellery.
right.
So, was this a present?
Yes, it was bought 20 years ago or over maybe by my husband, but unfortunately it's a bit formal. I've wore it for weddings a couple of times, but I think the time's come to have something, a garnet one instead.
Oh, right, OK. You've seen something else you like, have you?
No, I'm going shopping in Chester when I get the money. Hopefully I get the money.
Oh, so the jewellers in Chester can look out for you turning up?
They can.
OK. So it's 9-carat gold, 375 standard.
It is.
Which is what 9-carat gold is as a proportion of pure gold. So there is some alloy in there as well. It's a pretty thing, isn't it?
Yes, it's very nice.
I mean, it's very nicely made. Do you know who made it?
It was just sold as an Italian.
Italian.
Yes,
okay.
Italian.
I think it's very attractive. I can see, you know, almost any lady liking to wear that. I think it's too nice to scrap. I mean, gold.
Good.
The problem is, well, gold prices are quite high, and so
Yeah.
you start looking at things in terms of what are they worth to melt. But when something is so nicely made, it seems rather a tragedy to.
That's right.
I mean, think of the craftsmanship that's gone into that.
Yes.
But I would like to buy it.
Thank you.
I'll get some money out. See whether we can reach a deal, shall we?
Yes.
Right. £50, £100, £150, £200, £250, £300, £350, £400.
I'd just like a little more, just to reflect, I know the scrap, but just to reflect the workmanship, and it's so pretty. So that's
Yeah, I don't
what
really
I'd
want
like.
to scrap it because I think it's
That's
a
quite
nice
right.
thing.
Yes.
You'd like a little bit more?
Yes.
I'll give you another 20, so £420, which still gives me a bit of a margin.
Right. What I was really wanting was 440. And we'll have a
440, you'll
deal.
shake my
I'll
hand.
shake your hand at 440.
It's all just decreasing the margins, you know,
Yeah, of
but
course, I understand, but thank you.
I do like it, so
Yes, I'm glad.
440 and we'll shake hands.
Thank you
Wonderful.
very much
Okay.
indeed.
Thank you very much indeed.
Henry Nichols is ready to do business with Val for her Far Eastern letter opener.
I really like the look of this letter opener. It's a piece I'm definitely going to have a go at buying.
I'm hoping to get at least £45 for it.
Well, let's see how much Henry puts down then.
Well, I can see you brought in a lovely oriental letter opener. We've got the bronze handle and the brass blade.
Is it bronze? I didn't know
It is bronze. What's the history of it?
It was given to my friend's husband for his 21st birthday by
Right.
his auntie.
Yeah.
And she collected antiques, so we don't know how old it is anyway.
Right, and have you never put it to use?
No, just
Not
sits
at
in
all?
a drawer.
Just sits in a drawer?
Sits in the drawer.
Unloved?
Unloved, unwanted.
Well, let's have a
Yes.
look at the actual piece in question. Now, some people would say that it could be a page turner, but I disagree with that because the blade that we've got here is not long enough. To turn a newspaper page, you would have to have a blade maybe a third longer than that, bearing in mind that the papers in those days
With
were
the
an
big,
awful
long-
lot bigger.
Yeah.
Made in around 1890 to 1900. What I love about this is that we've got this really stylised owl here, and then you turn it over and we've got this sweet little butterfly there
beautiful.
with the chrysanthemums, leaf decoration to the blade itself. It's really, really nice. A little bit dented in places, but you'd expect that for something that's 110 years old at least. Oriental items are actually really popular.
Oh, wow.
Now, the good thing is, in my opinion, that it's a paper knife, because people will use paper knives still, whereas they
Opening
won't.
letters.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't use page turners as
No.
such. Question is, what do I want to pay for it? That is the big question. So let's get some money out
Okay.
and see what we can do. 20, 40, £60. What do you think of that?
Nearly.
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 So I'm quite close.
Very close.
Okay.
You know you want to.
I know I want to. Just how much do I want to? I'm going to go £80. How does £80 seem? Are we getting closer or are we there?
We're there.
We're there, are we?
We're there.
Is that more than you thought, or?
Yes.
Is it really? So I should have started off with a tenner. OK, so £80. Do we have a deal?
The deal.
Splendid. Thanks very much for coming in. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I think I'm going to make around about £40. It's definitely worth £120, so I'm really happy.
Got a good deal, got more than I wanted. I'm going to reinvest it in antiques.
Oh, well done, Val. Ever thought of going pro? Still to come. Today's sellers just keep getting cannier.
We've got this stuck in a cabinet somewhere when somebody might be able to pay me thousands of pounds.
Oh. And then you woke up.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Winsford in Cheshire.
It's all go in the den today, so it's back to David's table. Brenda's set her sights on getting exactly what she wants for her telescope.
I'm hoping for probably about 150.
Let's see if it's what David's looking for then.
Tell me about your telescope.
I acquired it from our hotel that we had in Devon, which we sold about 10 years ago. And it's sort of been knocking around the attic and things.
What was it? In the hotel, it was just a prop, was it?
It was, yes. It was sort of, you know, just on display, really, in the hotel. And
because some telescopes are really wonderful. They have good makers' names on them and things like that. This, I couldn't find a maker's name, which would help it, you know.
I think there is something on one side somewhere.
No, I didn't see that. Oh, John Barker and Company Limited, Kensington. I don't know them as instrument makers, but, you know, Kensington, London. Quite nicely presented thing. And you have an additional lens there.
Yes, that's right.
So, why have you now decided to sell it, Brenda?
Well, I've been thinking about selling it for quite some time. As I say, it's been knocking around the house, you know, on the attic.
Sit there.
No, unfortunately, no.
Do you know what you want for it?
Yes.
Got an idea?
I've got an idea, yes.
Okay, well, I'll get some money out. I'll see whether I can tempt you into selling it to me. 20, 40, 60 pounds.
No. I think it's worth a lot.
No. Very firm.
It's worth a lot.
You think it's worth more than that?
Yes, I do, yeah.
I think it's worth £80. And I think that's me.
Is it? No, I think it's worth a lot more than that.
You do you?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Well, you've got two choices. You can either take my money, hot money on the table, cash can be king, or you can go to auction and hopefully get some more money.
I'm going to take it to auction.
OK, I wish you well. I hope it does.
Thank you very much and nice to meet you.
Makes a good margin for you.
Thank you. The offer was too low and I can do better at auction.
Well, Brenda's no pushover. Let's join auctioneer Robert Stone to find out if she's made the right decision.
150.
You sat down with David Ford.
Yes.
He offered you £80. You were not obviously satisfied with that.
Not at all, no. I thought it was worth a lot more than that.
Looking through the telescope, we thought, we will look into this at the sale room because we think we can do better. The reserve is £100. It just depends who's here on the day, whether they see the value in it. It's coming up now. We need £100 or more. Let's see what happens.
Lot number 175. 175 is this terrific telescope. It's a really nice example. £80 and bid straight away at £80. 85 is now. 85, 90, 95, 95, 100 with me.
It's at 100. It's at the reserve. They're going for this. They like it.
110, the bid's there. At 120, 130 now. 130, 140.
It's at 130. They're looking for 140.
Bid's there at 130. It will be sold at £130. Then your bid.
The gamble's gone down at £130. I don't think that was too expensive because it's a quality instrument. So you're going home with £106. What are you going to spend the money on?
Well, I'll probably just buy it with some products from my new beauty business that I run.
OK, so this is going to go in a stock or whatever to help your business along.
Basically, yes.
On the day, made 130 in the room. You're taking home £106. It's going to be put into your business. Well, simple, real deal.
40.
Well done, Brenda. Back in the den, it's time for a deal with Henry and Des.
I'd like to get somewhere around the 400 mark, but I really don't want to take anything less than 300.
The clock is definitely up my street. I love it.
Auctioneer Robert Stone also likes the look of the clock, so he and David are watching on to see who can offer Des the real deal.
What a fantastic clock you brought in. What do you know about it?
Yeah, well, it was my grandfather's.
Yep.
He left it to me about 40 years ago.
Okay.
And as far as I'm aware, it's in perfect working order. I'm told it's mahogany.
Yeah, it is, indeed.
Yeah.
We've basically got a clock here that's going to date to the early part of the 19th century, sort of 1830, 1840. It's that sort of late Regency, early Victorian period. You've got a silver dial on there, which does need some restoration work doing to it.
Yes, I do know
but
that. Yep.
It's a good piece because what we've got is we've got a fusee movement, which we can tell by looking through this side panel here.
Yes.
And if we open the back up, should tell us who made it. And that is
Reynolds of Worcester.
Yeah, Reynolds of Worcester. Now, the sweet thing here, the sign of quality, is that we've got the pendulum with a little locking nut on there.
Yes.
So it means you don't have to take the pendulum off when you're transporting it. The original silk is on the back of the door here, with the meshwork, with the grille work on the back there. I love the carrying handle. All in all, it's a very, very, very nice clock. Why are you going to get rid of the clock?
Well, the clock has been in a display cabinet for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And it really is a shame that we've got this stuck in a cabinet somewhere when somebody might be able to pay me thousands of pounds.
And then you woke up.
We live in hope.
Well, we always live in hope. The important thing for me about this is its honesty. It's not been touched, it's not been restored, it's just honest. And a lot of people like things in pristine condition. I like to see them exactly as they've been aged.
Original,
150, 160 years.
A great clock, isn't it?
Lovely.
I mean, lovely figuring to the mahogany. That's a sign of quality. And this one's got a single fusee movement on it. That's a really good movement. It keeps great time.
What makes that so special?
Well, the thing about it is that it's driven by a chain, and the chain is ravelled round a cone-shaped cylinder,
Yes.
and also driven by a spring.
Yes.
So it's self-compensating, so
Yes.
it keeps perfect time.
Yes.
And that's how it works, and it's a great system.
Where have you placed your estimation?
I put £300 to £400 on it. If it had a double or even a triple fusee movement, then you really would be motoring in price.
I think Henry will have his eye on this. Let's see what he puts on the table.
So the question is, what's it worth? I suppose I ought to get some money out.
That wouldn't hurt me at all.
Might hurt me. Okay, 50, 100, 150, 200. Shall I keep going?
Yes, please.
Okay, that was very definite. 250, 300, 350, £400. So, Des, what do you think of £400?
Well,
David?
Sorry,
Go on,
David.
Des.
Sorry,
Say what
David.
you're going to say.
What I was going to say, 400 looks very nice, but another 50 would help me along to make a decision.
Let me just stop the proceedings there, and I will not go against what you've already said. I came in a little bit late. £300 to £400 was the estimation from both the independents and the valuers. Like Henry, I've had a look at this. Oh dear, what a Bobby Dazzler. It is of its type as good as it can be. It wouldn't surprise me at auction. It could have done better if the right clock dealers were attending, but I'm sure when you ask again and I get out of the way, Henry's going to snatch your hand off and shake your hand and say, I'll have that at 450.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear that.
Well, so 450 is what you want for it.
Please, yes.
So, do we have a deal?
Yes, we certainly do. Yeah,
Splendid.
thanks very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to buy that clock. I paid over the estimate, paid over the odds for it perhaps, but I'm convinced, I know I'm going to be able to sell that on for a profit.
Well, we'll see if that confidence pays off later, Henry. Now it's over to Helen's table, where Kirsty's hoping to clinch a deal.
Brought in a pair of Clarice Cliff bowls on behalf of my grandmother. I'm hoping to get as much money as I possibly can, otherwise she won't be very happy.
Now, what can you tell me about these Clariscliffe bowls, Christy?
My gran received them from a friend of hers. She was moving house and she didn't want them, so she gave them as a present, and she's had them ever since in a cupboard.
So they're your granny's?
They are, yes.
And Granny's too shy to come on herself?
She is very nervous.
But she's given you the instructions?
Yes.
I see. Now, do you like these bowls, Kirsty?
Not something I would technically go for. I mean, I like the colours on them because it reminds me of like a rainbow, but yeah.
Well, they are very colourful.
They are, yeah.
And the lady who designed and painted these was called Clariscliffe. Now, she's a very famous designer, and she worked in the 1930s, 40s, right up to the 1950s, which is when these bowls were made. And her designs are very sought after, and especially the early ones, which are quite geometric. Now, this is a later design. This is going into the 50s, so it's probably a bit more affordable for people. Now, there you see is the Clariscliffe mark. You see that?
Yeah.
So it's always a very distinctive mark. And the colours, as you say, are very bright.
Yeah.
So I'll put some money on the table and you'll tell me what you think. Okay?
Yeah.
20. How about £40 for your Clariscliffe, Kirsty?
Probably a bit more than that.
A bit more than that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go an awful lot more. Okay. There's another 5, 45. Here's David with some advice for you.
Well, when you say Clariscliffe, £45 doesn't sound a lot of money, but it isn't the most collectible design from Clariscliffe. £60 to £80 is where the independent values and the auctioneers are saying. I think they are good value for money within that range. So you've got two choices. Unless Helen is going to put any more money down, the chance is you could go to auction on the £60 to £80, but it's the desirability that fuels the demand for these items.
I'm going to stick at my £45. I know it's a mean offer, but that's what I would want to pay for them.
So you wouldn't go any little bit more?
No, I'm afraid I'm going to stick with my £45. That's going to be my final and last offer. What's it going to be, Kirsty?
I think I'll take the money.
You're going to take my money? Yeah. Well, that was a smart decision, I think. David will be disappointed. We have a deal. Thank you so much.
I think it's a fair deal for the price. I think we're going to be happy with that.
It's not the easiest thing to sell, but I'm sure if I do sell it, I should make a little profit.
And we'll find out if you do. Also coming up, what's giving Henry the collywobbles?
I don't know whether to be excited or to feel a bit...
Find out after the break. Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal. The people of Winsford are still piling through the doors, and David's next up with Linda.
I brought a toy bus in, and I'm hoping to get about £50 for it.
My problem is I don't really know the value of those things, but I'll have a go.
Well, Linda knows what she wants, David, so best keep up.
You bought me in your toys?
Yes, I have. They're my husband's toys.
Your husband's toys?
Mm-hmm.
Well, girls can play with little buses, can't they?
Yeah.
And I don't think these stereotypes are a good thing,
It's a little bit older than I am, though.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure. How old do you think it is?
I think it's 1950s, early 50s.
Yeah, I think you're probably a bit right. It works on friction, doesn't it? So you see it going whoom, 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 like that, and then let it run, don't you? Mm-hmm. It's made by Triang. The thing is with tin plate toys is they are collected, particularly some of the German ones, being makers like that, Macklin, important names, who make a lot of money. Triang, I don't know, really. What do you know about them?
I've actually seen it as a set of 4 buses, so I'm hoping that you know somebody that's got the other 3 that wants that one.
Oh, I see. This one is Triang Transport. Right, let's try and let's get some money out. Is it worth more than 20?
Oh, a lot more.
Is it? Is it worth 40?
A bit more.
A little bit more.
Another one.
I think I'm probably about there, aren't I? I mean, I don't know the value of these things, really. I know that there are collectors, but it's not something I'm strong on. I think 40 is about where I want to be. I don't know what I'm doing, really. Here's David. He'll help us both.
£40 on the table. I think we're in that kind of 30, 40, 50 pounds. I think if that went to the sale room, looking at the condition of the box, looking at the make, a minibus, it's a nice object, but I think £40 about its money. It might make 50. I think it's just about there. And I have the feeling David wants to play with it. I think that's why he's buying it.
Absolutely,
But
yes.
It's a nice thing, and I think it's about its money.
Thank you.
So there you are,
Okay.
Linda.
It's a deal.
We've got a deal.
Yeah, it's a
Great,
deal.
okay. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Got the £40, so I would have liked a little bit more, but at least it's in my back pocket and I'm going home with it.
Back in the den, there's something gruesome in front of this twosome.
I have brought along an amputation kit. I have previously sold 2 amputation saws which went for a couple of £100, so I'm hoping going for a 3-figure sum.
Ooh, sounds like it might cost Henry an arm and a leg.
Alison, great to see you. Well, I have to say that I've been offered some very bizarre things in my time, but I don't think I've been offered anything ever quite
Maybe
as
not,
bizarre
no.
as this. A surgeon's amputation kit.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to be excited or to feel a bit ugh about it. I mean, obviously, this isn't all of what we've got. There's other bits and pieces to go with it. We've got the sterilisation kits, there's a car badge, there are all sorts of tools and implements, but this is the main player.
Yes.
I don't know what to say. It's quite bizarre. I've never had anything offered to me like this. I mean, you've obviously got the saw, you've got forceps and tongs, you've got knives, and I think the nicest part of this to me is actually the box. I love the box. I mean, typically late 19th century, I would say. What's the history that you know of?
My husband got it. He was a gardener for the fellow who had it, and he was a doctor. And he actually used this amputation kit in the Boer War and kept it with him, and it's gone through his life like that.
Right.
And he gave it to my husband as a thank you, really, for his gardening.
I mean, we've obviously got a few bits and pieces that are missing from this, and obviously the handle on the saw has been damaged. Likewise with the box, we're missing the central brass plate there, which possibly would have had the surgeon's name on it, who it belonged to, quite likely.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, the case is in quite poor condition. Why are you getting rid of it?
We've carried it round for the last 15, 17 years, something like that. It's gone to house with us, and my husband sold 2 other saws on the internet and got a couple of £100 for it. So time for this to go.
Bring it along, yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
Well, we can but try.
Exactly.
We can but
That's
try.
it.
So I'm going to put some money on the table and try and buy it. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
20, 40, 60, 80, £100.
No,
that's
I'd
a
like
definite,
a bit. That's a definite no.
Definite no. A bit more,
a bit
like
more
a fiver or something like that.
A bit more than a
bit
fiver.
more than that, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to assess in my own mind what I think it could be worth. I mean, the problem with these items are that they are such a specialised
Yes, I understand
collecting circle.
Yeah, there's only so many people who would want
That's
them,
right,
isn't
you've got to know those people in that circle. And one thing I think that may slightly go against this is we don't really have a maker's name.
Right.
So we can't really sort of attribute it to one of, the best steel
People who made
makers or
these.
whatever.
Right, yeah.
Alison, we've got £100 on the table. I think we
Yes.
need to ask David's opinion. David.
Well, I'm a bit surprised here because I know Henry. He's a very smart dealer. He knows his stuff. He might be just playing with us a little bit here. He's put £100 down.
Yep.
Surgeon's kits are very commercially desirable. The independent valuers and auctioneers, the lowest part of their valuation is about 200.
Okay.
And we go up to 400. But I have to tell you, I think that's conservative. So Henry might be playing it a bit clever. I'm going to go away, and I'm hoping, will offer you more money. But you could do well at auction with us. On the day, it depends who's there.
Thank you very much,
Thank
David.
you, David. Let's cut to the chase, shall we?
Yep.
120, 140, 160, £170. That's where I want to be with it. So
You wouldn't up it a tiny bit? No, I'll take it to auction then, please.
fantastic. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I know you'll do well.
Thank you. I'd like a minimum of between the 200 to 300, but from what people have said, maybe over 4.
Has Alison set her sights too high? Or will the amputation kit cause a stir in the sale room?
I can start the bidding straight away on this at £200 and bid at 200. At 210 there, 210, 220, 230.
Find out after the break.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
Before the break, Alison tried to do a deal with Henry for her 19th century amputation kit. But Henry just wouldn't lay down enough cash.
£170.
You wouldn't up it a tiny bit? No, I'll take it to auction then.
So, auction it is then, Alison. Have you made the right call?
Now, it's always a gamble when you come to auction, especially with something that's a little bit oddball.
Yeah.
These things do bring a price, but you need the right buyer on the day. If you get lucky and sell this, what about the money? What are you going to do with it?
We are going to put it towards either a motorbike or a holiday.
So who do you think is going to win on this? Is it going to be the motorbike?
I'm hoping, but it depends how much sway the children have to whether we have the holiday.
OK. Reserve is £250, so it's got to make £250 to sell. Let's see what happens.
Very useful this, ladies and gentlemen. There we are. You never know when the moment might come across you and you just need a quick amputation job. And there's also an instrument there for extracting a bullet. I can start the bidding straight away on this at £200 and bid at 200. At 210 is the now. 210 anywhere now do I hear? 210 surely. At 210 there, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250. 250 you'll bid at 250. 260 on the internet, 260, no?
250, they're at the reserve.
The bid's on the front row at 250 and going to be sold. At £250, going away then at 250 then.
OK, gambler's gone down right on the reserve of £250. We've got a little bit of commission to take off from there. I make that £205.
Right.
Satisfied? Were you hoping for more?
Maybe a little bit more if there'd been an internet bidder to bring the price up.
You got 205 quid.
Happy with
Have
that.
we decided yet? Is it the motorcycle or is it the holiday?
I think the motorbike's going to get it over the holiday.
OK. Real deal. What's here in the sale room? £205. That was the real deal.
Right, let's get back to the den.
Mark, nice to meet you.
Over on Helen's table, Mark's hoping diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Tell me about this pretty little ring.
This was a ring given to my mother by an elderly Jewish lady years ago, with the instruction that when the time came, it was to be sold and the proceeds split between the grandchildren.
How nice.
So the time's now here.
So how long ago was this?
About 15 years ago.
About 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
it was given to my mother.
And did your mother wear the ring?
On occasion, but it wasn't one she would normally wear.
I see. I think it's a pretty little ring.
Yep.
I quite like it. It's sparkly.
Yep.
It's got a few inclusions in the stones, but
So I
nothing,
believe, but
nothing,
I'm not a
nothing.
jewellery expert, I wouldn't know.
I think it means that inside the diamond you can sometimes see black bits of carbon.
Oh, right.
Because diamond is carbon.
Yes, yeah.
So sometimes it's like pieces of coal inside
Yeah.
inside the diamond. I think
Right.
that's what they talk about, inclusions. But it's a pretty ring. The only reservation I have about it is it's a slightly dated style.
Yep.
That two on a twist was fashionable around about the 1950s. And looking at this ring, I would think it's 40s or 50s.
I've been told, because my brother had it looked at, that cut of diamond hasn't been around since the 1920s.
Oh, well, I think the style, maybe the diamonds were
Yeah.
cut then, but the style of the ring itself, I think, is more to the 40s and 50s. So
Okay.
I'm going to make you an offer on
Okay.
your ring and see how we go.
Okay.
You know how much money you want for it?
I've got an idea.
Have you?
Yep.
You're going to tell me about that idea?
You'll find out when you get there.
If I get there.
If you get there.
Let's see, what will we put down? £50, £100, £150, £200. How's that for a start?
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near. Oh
No.
dear, am I going to have to do a little bit harder?
Quite a bit better.
Quite a bit better. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
£200, 250, £300. How about £300?
No.
Am I going to have to try really
Well, the
hard?
proceeds have got to be split between 4 grandchildren, so
Well,
they're
what can we
expected.
do?
You know, so
£350.
no,
Nowhere near.
no.
Do you think you'd do better in auction, Mark?
Possibly, but it depends whether you're going to put more down or not.
I'm getting very close on that, but we'll see what David says.
Okay.
Mark, I don't know what your expectation was when you brought this along, but I've just spoke with our jewellery valuers and our experts. They've looked at that and they say, well, a nice little ring, there's about half a carat of diamonds, 3 grams of gold, but quite commercial.
Yep.
They tell me this crossover design now is reasonably commercial. I would not have known that myself.
I didn't know that.
And they say 3 to 5, there's 350, it's worth a little bit more.
Yep.
But you can gamble, you can take it to auction, and I can tell you there's a reasonable chance that a private buyer could buy that. Somebody who wants an engagement ring, it's not a lot of money for half a carat of diamonds.
No.
So, my advice is, see if Helen will be a little bit more generous. The wee Helen likes a diamond.
Well, now you've heard David's advice. Now, what do you take from that?
Are you going to put a little bit more down?
It will be a little bit more. I'm getting very close to where I want to be. I do like your ring. I'm not as convinced that the style is as fashionable. I think it's a slightly unfashionable style, but I do like your ring.
Okay.
Now, that's 350, 370. Now, we're getting pretty close here. We're getting really down to the nitty-gritty here, Mark. What do you think? £370, you're going to have to get quite a bit more at the auction to come anywhere near that.
If you put another 20 on it, we've got a deal.
Another 20, we've got a deal. Not another 10 and we've got a deal.
No.
Another 20.
Yep.
If I put 20 quid on there, we've got a deal.
Yep. If you put that 20 down, we'll have a deal on 390.
Okay, there's your £20. You're very persuasive, Mark. Shake my hand, we have a deal.
Thank you very much.
I think I've paid a very fair price for it. I don't know how much profit will be involved. Maybe I'll get 50 quid, who knows?
Time to find out how much profit all of our dealers have made. Today they've offered up almost £2,000 of their own money. Has it paid off? It was a guessing game for Helen and the postcards.
I've no idea what this is worth, Maria. Have you got any idea?
But after settling on £70, Helen's still waiting for someone to take them off her hands. She knew what she wanted to pay for the Clarice Cliff bowls.
I'm going to stick at my £45. I know it's a mean offer.
Well, a profit of almost 50% was more than generous. When Mark pushed her to lay down £390, Helen thought she'd make 50 quid.
Shake my hand, we have a deal.
And in fact, she made a wee bit more. David was unsure about the toy bus.
My problem is I don't really know the value of those things, but I'll have a go.
But he did shell out £40 and doubled his money too. He had the Midas touch when he sealed a deal for the gold chain and bracelet.
We always like to buy a bit of gold. Safe bet, isn't it?
And he wasn't wrong. But it's Henry who really struck gold today. Although he hasn't been able to shift the letter opener yet, the mantle clock was a completely different story.
I'm convinced, I know I'm going to be able to sell that on for a profit.
Andy was spot on. After coughing up £450, Henry clocked up as much profit as all the other dealers put together. Pleased with yourself?
We've had a great day here in Cheshire. Great crowd of people, lots of action, lots of buying and selling. That's what I like to see. Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. TTFN, ta-ta for now.